Yo, what's good, my good friends and family? So check it out. I wanted to start this video out because I'm in the process of converting what I'm now sitting in is like kind of my video game room. And then I was thinking, man, I could do some streaming from home and do some unboxing and do a lot of other things. And so what's really cool is I went to Imaging USA in Louisville, Kentucky, and I won a gift. What are the odds in 2024? We're starting out big, right? I'm winning stuff. But I went to the Lux Little Light booth, and they were giving away some Dell products, and I signed up for it, scanned the QR codes, did all the things they required for us to win, right? And so I was like, man, what a moment that I can take right now as I'm converting my space. What I decided to do was look at all my old video production equipment, stuff I wasn't using anymore, stuff that was sitting on the shelf collecting dust. And I started thinking to myself is how do I repurpose it or resell it or just throw it out, like, cause it's old and it's no good. Fact of the matter is photography and video equipment typically rarely ever goes bad. There are some things that will just kind of last forever. And so I went through what was on the shelf, right? And was like, you know what, let's repurpose this. Let's kind of build out a streaming room where if I'm playing the Xbox or the PlayStation, or maybe I want to do an unboxing like today, or just want to wake up in the morning in my house and chat with you, I can do that. And so I've got this we had a really bad flood about a year ago, and we never got around to fixing the basement. I mean, it was devastated, like mold, and it was ugly and yucky. And I might throw some pictures up of what this room looked like before I gutted it. And so last year I decided to gut the room. We tore out all the drywall. I threw in some insulation. We repainted the floors. I even patched the floors where like some of the concrete had gotten really messed up. Minus we have a really old home. But the fact is I turned this room into a really cool, clean concept right now. So in that, here we go, right? So I was like, look, let me go down the list of the things just to share with you what I collected in my house or what I collected from the studio that we weren't using anymore that I thought would be a good way to splice and create my streaming room. You ready? All right, let's jump into it. All right, so first up is the Tascam 70D, right? It's a 6-input, 4-track multi-field recorder. I used to use this when we were doing like run and gun interviews, or we were out and doing, well, we were running gunning anything, right? And I needed to record audio, so I would throw in a couple mics on there. I would carry that on my hip, or I would attach it to a tripod. Either way it goes. So I grabbed the Tascam 70D, something we weren't using anymore, and was like, okay, this is gonna be a kind of a really cool audio mixer that I can plug into my ATEM Mini Pro, right? Because we do a lot of live streaming and we do a lot of switching, but even when we're doing live events, it's just a great controller, great inexpensive controller with a lot of pro assets to it. So I got the ATEM Pro over there. I also am using my old school, the original Blackmagic design Video Assist, the 5-incher, because I needed a little small monitor, something where I can loop in and loop out if I wanted to, but better yet, really just kind of monitor this 1-camera, 2-camera scenario that I use when I'm gaming or I'm podcasting or something like that. And it also records, right? So I can throw an SD card in there, immediately record whatever I'm doing. So pulled out the Blackmagic Design Video Assist. I'm using this is kind of a newer item, but I wasn't a really big fan of it. But I bought a series of the ZOM7 dynamic microphones. I do a lot of podcast production, and so we use a variety of different mics. And visually, it looks really cool because it kind of looks like the Shure mic that everybody loves, the really expensive one. But you know, at $100 a mic, I think, I can't remember what we paid for them, but it was a really inexpensive mic and they looked good. The quality is actually not too bad. So it's at my desk now. And so I was like, let's repurpose this because I don't use it for my clients, but it works perfect for what I'm gonna be using it for. I need what I'm using today as a lavalier, right? Because if I'm not sitting in front of the pod mic or the podcast mic, you know, I need another microphone. And so a while back, we bought these Audio-Technica the Audio-Technica ATW System 10s. And we bought a variety of those, right? Because we do a lot of live production stuff. And I was needing the lavaliers. I was also using the handhelds. I'm a complete fan of the handhelds. But the labs, not so much. I'm not really a big fan of them. I also use Sennheiser and Shure, and so I have a lot of those lav cases. So these were, again, sitting around collecting dust. and then the on-camera receiver mount, right? So those are really cool. I don't like the fact that they're battery powered in the sense that it's an internal battery and you have to constantly pull them out to charge them. I love the old school where you have to just throw in some batteries, right? And it's a win. So it's a hard judge, but you know, when you're in a single room like this, you know, again, something I wasn't using, and I was thinking, man, what could, or how could I repurpose again, toys and tools that we've bought over time that we're just not using. So the Audio Technica ATW 170L, it's the System 10 digital camera mount wireless with the Omni lavalier mic. Again, super dope system. I think it'll work for a lot of different things. And one of the reasons I probably didn't get rid of it, right? So now I'm repurposing it, and look where it's gonna land. And so you'll hear the sound in that sense of what it's gonna do down here in my damp, crazy dungeon that we're building, right? What's even more fun, so for unboxing and unpacking, I've been working with a couple things, and if you know me, I'm a Blackmagic design fan, right? So a lot of things we use are Blackmagic, minus the cameras. Most of the cameras I use are Canon. Actually, all the cameras I use are Canon. But one of the things my partner was telling me is that Blackmagic came out with a app that you can put on your iPhone and turn your iPhone into a camera and get a clean feed. Bam. So anybody who live stream, you know you got to get a camera that actually gives you a clean feed. And prior to this, there were a lot of things you just couldn't do with the iPhone in terms of live streaming, in terms of getting a live feed. So either way it goes, I had to go buy this really cool dongle so I could plug it into the iPhone, run my HDMI into my ATEM, and now I have a second camera. So today what I've done, as I'm gonna do this unboxing, I've got a camera mounted right above my head, but not a camera, right? It's my iPhone. So I downloaded I took an old iPhone and I downloaded the app from Blackmagic, threw it on this iPhone, and so you can get a camera angle down, so you can see what we're doing, right? And so if I hit record right now, right, because I haven't really set this up as a multi-camera system, but so I'll record this right now. It's gonna record to the phone. I'll be able to pull this down and you'll be able to see down what I'm doing, what the table looks like. So this is gonna be super cool in the future as I'm doing some other things. But again, part of this is about how do we repurpose old equipment and still make it functional in today's creator age, right? This so-called creator economy that we're in. Let me hit stop real quick so I can turn that off. So I don't, again, memory, right? Memory matters on the iPhones. You got to keep that in mind. So this is why I'm going to want to plug it into my ATEM later and hit record, right? So I can do switch back and forth and all that. So I'm using iPhone 10. I'm also using one of my favorites, still my favorite camera. I use it a lot, really for interviews, is my camera EOS, the C100, right? The first version of the C100. Super great cinematic camera. You can get them really inexpensive used right now. And so if you're trying to get into the business and you want a dedicated video camera that's gonna do a lot of the work for you, man, this is a workhorse. A lot of people don't need 4K. A lot of people don't need 8 and 6K. I mean, even though they're gonna tell you to go out and get it, but a lot of folks want just really good quality video. And this camera for the price does amazing. And so I thought I'd repurpose this. I use it for my Zoom classes. I use it for anything that I'm doing online in that sense. And again, still sometimes I will pull it out and do it for my interviews. So I thought this would be the perfect space to pull that in and do that right now. And then we're also using a handful of, I don't know, crazy wires, right? Because wires are always key, and you need some cloud lifters, and you're gonna run into the fact that you might need an XLR female to female adapter. I mean, I won't get into it here, but you know, the basics of the hard equipment, right? The hard stuff that you got to put together is unique, but most of the time what we don't talk about is all the wiring that it takes to make this work. And trust me, if I show you, and I might pan back there what my desk looks like in the midst of all the wiring and all the different dongles that it took to use my old equipment, it's amazing. But you know, hell, I just thought I'd come on here, show you this, and I'm excited about it. Maybe you'll be excited about it. Maybe you have some old equipment, or maybe you got access to somebody who's giving away a bunch of old equipment and you're like, man, I would take it, but I don't know what to do with it. I'd say take it and learn what you could do with it later, because I'm telling you, it's gonna be functional, it's gonna be useful. So here's what I'm gonna do. Let's take a break, because again, before I take this break, right, I went to Imaging USA in Louisville, excited, right? So if you don't know what Imaging USA Louisville is, Imaging USA is the big photography hosted by PPA, which is the Professional Photographers of America Association, not of America, but Photography Association. And you know, so they did their big expo, and I was walking around, and again, I went over to the Lux Little Light booth, and they were doing this competition, and I signed up to win, potentially win, said products. Well, lo and behold, I get a text in my Instagram and it says, "Hey Miguel, you were happy to announce that you won." And I was like, yo, how cool is that? I won something. And so here we go. So I thought, again, crazy cool. I'm gonna do a quick unboxing. So I won, drum roll. I won the MS700 Twist and Go mouse, Bluetooth, which is really cool. So what I'm gonna do is unhook my mouse to my iMac over here and plug it in over here. We're gonna see how easy it is to use. And it's great because my laptop is over there, and it'd be nice to have a mouse down here. And I realize I only have one, so I'm constantly transferring them back and forth depending on what I'm doing. So I wanna say thank you. So we're gonna unpack that. And then I also see my cheat sheet, right? I got notes. No teleprompter yet. Somebody out there that wants to send me a teleprompter to play with down in my basement, I will happily use that. And then we won the Dell 1424H, which is a 14-inch portable monitor, right? And it comes in this really cool box. Well, actually it came in a different shipping box, so I already took the shipping box apart because they sent them together, right? So here, let's do this. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna transition. I'm gonna turn the camera on up on top. That way I can go back and forth, and I'll show you what we got. All right, so I'm back, and yeah, so here we go. So let's grab this. Let's see what this looks like, feels like. I'm gonna open up the Dell first, you know what I mean? Well, they're both Dells, I guess. I'm gonna open up the mouse first. Let's get it. See what happens. Cool packaging, easy slide and open. Little tissue wrap. It's actually kind of cool. Wonder, yeah, comes with the batteries. Probably helps if I would probably read some directions, right? And know how this thing works, but you gotta pull the batteries out. Comes with 2 AAAs. A little interesting. It's got this little slide mechanism in here so that you can pull the batteries in and out. Little tape piece. I'm not sure how I like that, but then it locks back in place. I don't know if you can see that right there. But yeah, slick and cool. Pretty easy. And then see it's triggering right now. Let's see if it, without reading directions, you probably should absolutely read directions to see how this is gonna work or not work. Right there, oh, easy connect. It showed me it for about half a second. Let's see, it lets me connect 2 mice at the same time. Oh yeah, buddy. All right, so I'm gonna turn this one off. Let's go ahead and grab here, and yeah, immediately it starts working. That's a beautiful thing. It's actually pretty smooth. Now I'm moving it on this desk right here. Let's see if I move it around on my pad. Yeah, pretty easy. Yeah, I love it, Dale. Thank you. This is gonna be cool. You know, when I'm doing graphic design and I'm doing video editing and all that other stuff, we're gonna see how this works out. Now, what I find interesting, well, is Bluetooth. It takes batteries. We'll find out how long these batteries last and how often I have to replace them. I really wish it had like a little baggie because like this is their travel mouse. But hey, whatever, it works, right? I'll figure out what the on and off and see how that lasts. It comes with a start guide, right? So things we need to read, I recommend you read it. But let's see what happens. As of right now, out of the box, I'm digging it, loving it. Let's crack this bad boy open, right? I've been excited about getting a new monitor, right? Because I typically, if you're like me, or you know, I do a lot of design work and I work with 2 monitors. If I'm working on my laptop, then it ends up being 3 monitors. So I think it's gonna be pretty awesome to use. I like how this comes in packaged. It's pretty easy. I don't use a lot of what I would consider travel pieces like this, so this is gonna be new to me. I love the fact that it has a really kind of cool storyboard and picture direction. So that's gonna be a hot piece. I already know one challenge I'm gonna have. I guess this is a cover. Yeah, cool little cover slip pad, I guess, for it. Comes with a USB-C to USB-C, which tells me that I'm going to need a USB-C to HDMI at some point in time, because if I want to connect this to one of my laptops, one of my Apple products does not have an HDMI, and then one of them does. So this should be an interesting piece how I pair all these together, but some of my other devices don't have USB-C, right? So I don't know. Either way it goes, this is gonna be cool. I love the packaging on this. Super slick. This is super small and thin. I love the boxing. I'm just gonna throw that, sorry for the loud noise, I'm just gonna throw that over there on the floor. But I am digging this. This is nice. This has got a smooth, little cool setup. I wonder, let's see out of the box, right? I'm sure it requires, I don't know if this requires charging or batteries or some kind of connection. So it's got, which I think is really cool. It's got two USB-Cs on both sides. It's got a power button on one side, and then it looks like a brightener so that you can brighten the screen. I am curious, right? So let's plug this into my laptop, my iMac right here, and see if out of the box I can go to work. And it kicks on by itself, which was kind of slick. And oh wow, perfect. I don't know if you can see this, but I immediately have a second screen. Man, this is really cool. I am super geeked, super excited to tap in and to play with this monitor. I'm even more curious is like, can I use it as a field monitor, right? Can I convert this over? Could I plug this into like one of my ATMs and use this as a quick presentation monitor like that? I'm gonna have to read the manual to see how we keep it charged. But I am super excited. I wanna thank y'all for sending me this. And I'll thank the Camera Universe, Imaging USA, and Dale, and everybody who was a part of this to allowing me to be a winner. You know, check it out. So as I build out my new streaming setup, guess what will be in my bag all of 2024. So I'm gonna work this out. Maybe I'll come back later and talk about all things I love about it, or maybe not, maybe yes. Hey, check it out. This is your boy Gallagher. Appreciate you hanging out with me. I hope you enjoy this. This was my cool unboxing. I don't do unboxings often. Maybe I'll get to do them more and I'll get better at it. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.